political arguments are done between parties and among parties, Mr. Speaker. And if, for example, MDG where I run has shares in a government, the shares are for the whole country, not for a tribe or for an individual, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today, I must say that we will impeach him. But all of us here today must also soul search that as we impeach Gachagua, have you lived a better life yourself as a Kenyan? Have you lived a better life as a leader? What have you done in your closet that reflects what Gachagua has done? We'll impeach him, but we must also change our ways as a country, from the president down to all of us who lead in this country, Speaker. I support and believe that he must be impeached.
Commissioner Patrick Makau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, allow me to give thumbs up for one Honorable Ecomas Mwengi Mutuse Massive. Mr. Speaker, I give him thumbs up for executing this motion and showing Kenyans that leadership is not about where you come from, who you are, but how you perform your duties. Mr. Speaker, this morning, I've heard many speakers talk to this motion. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the speakers who have said that yesterday and the week before, Mr. Speaker, I've been watching the Deputy President of this country doing rallies in town, going to churches, and Mr. Speaker, what we saw on Sunday was different from what we saw yesterday. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I want to advise us, even as politicians, sometimes we should listen to our advisors, and we listen to the right advisors. Mr. Speaker, if I were to advise the Deputy President, yesterday's interview was his undoing, and he proved to Kenya that yes, all these accusations that are being leveled to him are really true. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm to this House, one, despite Article 10, the Deputy President, who is supposed to hold the values of this nation, by uniting Kenyans, by fighting against corruption, by fighting against tribalism, he is the one who has championed tribalism through and through. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, as a member of Parliament Mavoko, I have spoken the word Kenya many times, more than the Deputy President of this country. All what I've been hearing is Murima, 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 Murima. Mr. Speaker, today I want to tell Kenyans, I know Parliament has been prosecuted, and many words, we've been called names that we are an unperforming house. But today I stand here as a legislator Mavoko. Mr. Speaker, why am I charging the Deputy President to be a tribalist? Mr. Speaker, at one time, I listened to the Deputy President on national television saying that he reversed a cabinet decision to reverse the demolitions in Mathare. Why did he do that? He said his people were in Mathare and that he could not sit and see his people's houses demolished. Mr. Speaker, it reminded me when the people of Mavoko houses were being demolished. Personally, I went to him, and Mr. Speaker, I thought he could help me. But the words he used to me are unprintable, and I cannot speak them in this house. Mr. Speaker, today I want to tell him, those people that he was addressing, 30% of the houses that were demolished belong to those people of Murima. They belong to Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, I come from a constituency that is cosmopolitan. Today, as I stand here, Mr. Speaker, we have lost lives. We have had people whose properties had to be auctioned because they had gone for loans for those houses to build. Mr. Speaker, as a legislator, I humbled myself and requested and asked the Deputy President to intervene so that those houses, Mr. Speaker, a parcel of 4,000 acres, 325 acres, I requested him to have the 300 acres where the houses were seated, to have those people even pay to Portland. But the names he called me, Mr. Speaker, I cannot call them here. When I hear someone saying there are things which are not personal, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell them, those people elected me to represent them, and their pains are my pains, Mr. Speaker. Today, as I sit here, Mr. Speaker, the same deputy president came to Machakos and he said the Kamba votes are very little, they cannot bring in a president. He went ahead and said the Kamba votes, Kitui, Machakos, and Makueni combined are less than 1 million. I want to remind the deputy president that the Kamba vote is more than 3 million. I want to remind him that Kamba nation produced Gay who took care of Kenyatta in prison. That same Kamba nation produced Munyao Kisoi, who flew the flag of Kenya during Independence Day. That same flag produced Muindi Mbingu, the former freedom fighter, who is my grandfather, Mr. Speaker. I want to remind him that same Kamba nation.
Give him 1 minute.
1 minute. Mr. Speaker, that same Kamba nation that you said their votes were useless, they are the ones who are running every night now, calling for them to come and save you in this budget motion. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind him that every tribe in this country is important and he should live to respect them. I support this motion for every reason and every accusation that he has been accused of. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Sane.
Mr. Speaker, before I want to bring out 3 assertions which are highly distorted, emanating from His Excellency, the Deputy President Gachagua. One, that he is a co-president. In every general election, 6 ballot papers are being issued to voters. And of the 6, 1 is for the presidency, and all Kenyans have voted His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto. I did not, and no Kenyan, voted Gachagua for any position other than being escorting the deputy president to State House. Nobody, the president to State House. He was not elected. So the claim that he had acquired 7.2 million voters is unfounded, unfactual, and is just mere hallucinations, Mr. Speaker. So he's not a co-president, he is just merely an assistant to the president. A second thing, Mr. Speaker, he always talks of being trained in paramilitary exercises or acquired paramilitary training. He is supposed to be a symbol of harmony, a symbol of unity, not to intimidate, not to tell the citizenry that indeed he is military trained. That in itself bespeaks volumes on who his character is, Mr. Speaker. One other thing, yesterday he has made disparaging remarks on the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the Senate. The fact that his impeachment is coming in front of this House today and thereafter proceed to the Senate, it wasn't befitting for him to speak disparaging, derogatory remarks on our Speaker and the Speaker of the Senate. On to the impeachment motion, Mr. Speaker. Article 150, I think the threshold has fully been met in impeaching the Deputy President Gachagua. His loyalty to the President is questionable. His visits, whenever the President goes out of the country, the Deputy President is never seen to see him off. Whenever the President comes into the country, the second principle is always not available to receive the President. He gives press releases that contradicts the President, talks too much, giving epithets that make our President, demean our President, projecting our President a liar on several occasions. Yesterday, all Kenyans have heard that it is His Excellency the President Ruto who taught me how to respond to civil servants, how to address intelligence officers like Nurdin Haji, like the CID officer Amin. That in itself depicts lack of respect for the presidency. Mr. Speaker, it is clear in our Constitution that he is the second in command, as espoused in Article 147.3, as read with 134. This he has failed. He has also shown massive erosion of the position of the executive, not being the assistant and showing the unity so expected of him, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President severally pronounced himself on matters discriminating Kenyans, that he has gotten his share of cabinet secretaries in his region. Cabinet secretaries belong to all Kenyans, and I think that doesn't befit. He has addressed public servants in public, and in all aspects, he has violated Article 232, which is the same principles that is expected for the executive. Finally, Mr. Speaker, he also talked ill of public participation. The courts have declared themselves that public participation was well done, and yesterday it was clear that he was contemptuous that the public participation done by the National Assembly did not meet the required threshold, and that, I believe, is also being so contemptuous of this House. With those few remarks, I support the impeachment. Thank you.
Rafael Wanjala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important motion in this country. Mr. Speaker, this is my second motion since I became Member of Parliament, the second one to discuss impeachment of our Deputy President. Mr. Speaker, I'm very disturbed the way our Deputy President has been behaving, because the Deputy President is principal assistant of the President. But always when the President goes out of the country, the guy recedes back to Murima, and then he starts asking Mr. President so many questions instead of running the country when the President is away. He's never available in Nairobi, except he's only available in his village, trying to ask Mr. President questions, and that, Mr. Speaker, has really annoyed some of us. Mr. Speaker, when there were floods, this Deputy President, Mr. Speaker, was assigned by the President that he's supposed to take care of the disaster that was there at that time. The man never moved from his home yard to other areas. He was never in Nyando, he was never in Budanangi, he was nowhere, and all the food he directed to his backyard. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very brief. Yes, Mr. Speaker, this Deputy President.
Order, Wanjala, there's a point of order. Yes, Muya.
Honorable Speaker, is the member in order to say the Deputy President has never moved out of his backyard, while it is on record and on public domain that he has been in Kisumu, in Busia, in Mombasa, in all parts of the country?
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President will only be seen in those places when he is accompanying the President. But he has never come on his own to see the destruction of floods. Mr. Speaker, these people of EACC did service to this country. Because for you to be elected, you must go through EACC. Mr. Speaker, this Deputy President was a DO. And Mr. Speaker, he was a DO, and as a DO, he was sacked on 30th July 1997 as a DO. And the reason why he was sacked, and I will table this later, that the ESCC did not do its work and it cleared him to be a member of Parliament and to be a Deputy President, yet he was not supposed to be because of his misconduct. Mr. Speaker, this letter is read as Mr. Geoffrey Rigathi Gichagua, District Officer 1, Laikipia, through Provincial Commissioner, summarily dismissal. Reference is made to our letter dated 19th May 1989 on your appointment to the position of district officer. I and your response statements to show cause for gross misconduct, desertion of duty, and reported mismanagement of relief food for Laikipia district. These are thieves. In this regard, we wish to notify you that your employment contract has been terminated forthwith. Consequently, you are required to report to the Rift Valley Provincial Commissioner for handover and clearance. This was signed by Queen Rua. Mr. Speaker, this was a wrong man to be in this office in the first place. This one, for Kenya to grow, Gachagua must go. To stop tribalism, Gachagua must go. For Kenya to unite, Gachagua must go. I tabled the letter and I support the motion.
KAGUCIA.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable KAGUCIA.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Raphael Wanjala has produced a photocopy of a document that we cannot get its authenticity. Honorable Speaker, the document that Honorable Raphael Wanjala is referring to is not.
Order, Honorable KAGUCIA. Order. Take your seat, Honorable KAGUCIA. Honorable KAGUCIA, first, from where you are sitting, you have not seen the document. Secondly, the Speaker is fully conversant with the rules of admissibility. And I'll look at the document and I'll direct you on how to use it. I thought I had given you an opportunity to contribute. You are going at a tangent that is totally unnecessary. If you want to contribute, that is what I had given you. If you are not ready to contribute, I give somebody else.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to stand, and I stand guided. Honorable Speaker, I want to stand to oppose the motion to impeach the Deputy President. Honorable Speaker, the reason why the new constitution brought about the issue of having a deputy president position, which is not an appointed position anymore, but a position that the president and the deputy would be conjoined together at the point of election, is so that the two of them can be able to work together. And that is what the country desired. That is what our people of this Republic of Kenya voted for in 2010 in the new constitution. Honorable Speaker, I want to believe that when we have been able to get the two of them, we should be able as a country, as much as practically possible, ensure that whatever misunderstanding and whatever differences that may appear or may exist between the two of them,
yes, Kagombe.
We get...
KAGUCIA, hold. Honorable Gigi Kagombe, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, is the honorable member in order to disparage the Constitution and mutilate it in the manner he is doing by disputing the provisions of Article 150 of this Parliament to remove a sitting Deputy President? It is constitutional, it is written, it was passed by us in 2010, and that work is given and granted by the Constitution to this Parliament. Therefore, the fact that the President and the Deputy President were elected together doesn't stop the provisions of Article 150. So therefore, it should withdraw.
Honorable Speaker, you know there's a reason why Honorable Kagombe is called Kagombe and not Kigombe. It's because a small cow jumps before he jumps, you know, a small calf. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, you know.
Take your seat. Order. Order, honorable members, order. Order. Honorable KAGUCIA, take your seat. Order, honorable members, order. Honorable KAGUCIA, you are here the whole morning. And I did direct to the House. Order. Order. Order, Nabuin. Take your seat. Honorable members, we have done very well since morning. This may be an emotive motion, but as leaders, leave your emotions at that door when you come to this House. And I want to encourage you, honorable members, Honorable KAGUCIA, treat your colleagues the same way you would want them to treat you. Don't make any disparaging remarks. Don't purport to misinterpret the meaning of the name of a colleague, because that's not your duty. We just withdraw and apologize to Kagombe and proceed with your contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to, Honorable Speaker, I want to withdraw the naming of Honorable Kagombe and apologize, Honorable Speaker.
No.
Honorable Speaker, I also hope that you have noted the Honorable WAMUMBI has hit me with a bottle of water. Honorable Speaker, and that is unparliamentary. Is that unparliamentary that another honorable member should rule?
Order. Honorable WAMUMBI, did you throw a bottle? Take your seat.
That is very unparliamentary.
Take your seat. WAMUMBI.
Mr. Speaker, it's very bad that Honorable KAGUCIA can lie to this House. He is lying. Mr. Speaker, Honorable KAGUCIA is lying. Let him continue with the speech, but he should not lie in this House.
Order, honorable members, to the extent that the Speaker didn't see and Honorable KAGUCIA is not claiming any injury, let's leave it there.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I am of the opinion we have a respectable gentleman by the name Henry Kissinger, and Henry Kissinger did state that the quest for peace and order has two elements that are sometimes treated as contradictory. He said that the pursuit of elements of security and the requirements of acts of reconciliation, if you do not and if you cannot achieve both of them, we will not be able to reach either of them. The road to diplomacy, Honorable Speaker, Henry Kissinger did say that may appear complicated and frustrating, but progress to it requires both vision and the courage to undertake that journey. Honorable Speaker, I'm of the opinion that when we have our two senior-most gentlemen in this republic having such kind of a disagreement or an issue that is a misunderstanding, we should seek the way of reconciliation. The way I see us doing now, we are just following on the issue of security. We are looking at the issues of removal, yet we are not pursuing a very important goal in this, and that is reconciliation. And for that matter, Honorable Speaker, I am of the opinion that we should seek a way that we can be able to bring the two gentlemen together. Honorable Speaker, you know that in the past we have brought an elder by the name His Excellency Obasanjo. We have brought Senator Kuhn from US. We have even had a gentleman by the name Museveni, His Excellency Museveni, who have in the past mediated when our two senior-most leaders in this country have disagreed. And for that reason, Honorable Speaker, I want to remind you that we have even had Kofi Annan in Kenya. I'm of the opinion that we should have gotten away.
Hold KAGUCIA. Yes, Shimba.
I want to inform Honorable KAGUCIA that by any dictionary that is known in this world,
Honorable Speaker, I did not ask for information from Honorable Omar.
Just relax.
Order.
Honorable Speaker, I do not desire to have any information from
Honorable Your information, take your seat. Finish up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I would like to complete my statement.
Yeah, finish up. Give him a minute. Finish up. Time is up. Give him a minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would just like to complete my statement by saying that I wish that as a country we are able to come up with a mechanism in which we can be able to bring our senior leaders when they have a disagreement in such a way that they can be able to reconcile and agree. Because, Honorable Speaker, even when we open the Pandora's box of impeachment, Honorable Speaker, we are going to be opening something that we may not be able to contain. We are now likely to have many impeachments coming to this House because we have started something that, Honorable Speaker, sometimes we are not able to contain in coming days. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
He's off the floor, Jeanette, so you cannot raise.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to clarify that the matter before the House is not a disagreement of anyone. It is a motion that has been tabled by Honorable Mutuse that has 8 counts, 11 grounds. Mr. Speaker, we are discussing a motion that